Okay, so here's a project that I'm going to be doing. I was hoping to have done it for the reuse contest at Instructables, but I just couldn't get at it in time. So I'm still going to probably build it, but basically I think I'm going to call it a micro cave. It's a small building that is about 40 inches wide. Anyhow, I'll cover that elsewhere. But on that, I've already started the cut list, and I need some rafters. I need 8 rafters at 2 inches by 4 inches by 44 inches. And again, I cut these all up a while back. I'll bring some of them into the shed. I don't want to have them all in here. It gets too crowded. So on that bottom row, I have enough that I can make my rafters for that building at 44 inches a piece. But before rather than jointering and planing 50 inches, I'm going to cut them to about 45 inches. That way I'm working with a lot less material. You'll see me do this fairly often. What I do is I run a blue chalk line on there, and that reminds me that that was done, be true to blue, that was done by the jointer. So one thing I'm doing is using up like container after container after container of glue and everything. So that's why I'm so goofy. But what I'm doing is I'm only putting it on one of the blue sides, right? Then I'll put it on this blue side. It's pretty much done. So now I've got one like that. Now I can just take, again, true to blue, right? That's my PB&J, or my meat on the sandwich. So that's going in between there. And then be true to blue. That's going to go down onto the glue side. And you can see the other side's a bunch of grunge, the original 2x4. Two ways you can do this. You can lift these up like I'm doing right now, right? And then just slide them in. And that seems to work pretty well, as long as you have enough space. So this is this board is, or this laminate to be, is about 46 inches long, and you can see that it's extended out beyond a little ways in each end, which is fine. And so all I'm doing is just, I'm alternating all of them around. And then, but while I'm doing that, I'm also looking to see that these edges are somewhat close. Now, it's not that critical because we're going to trim that board down, but it's safer to put one side flush, either the other side or this side, either one. The typical way to do this would be, because you can see the front a lot easier right here, I'm just going to line those up. If I go ahead and I snug these down on this end, even though the other end is pretty far off, so I'm flush here. So here's the simple solution to this. As I get to the other end now, that's going to be a problem. I'm off quarter there, and that's just because all these boards are so warped. And that's really the beauty of making beams out of multiple boards, is you take all that out of there just using finesse. So then just see how this is pushing those together. And that's all it takes. So now that everything's aligned, I'm going back over them again and still tighten them even more. And that's the beauty of using an impact. to make sure that they're tight, and there's glue oozing, which is always a good sign. And basically that baby's ready to go. Because everything is oversized, I don't have to protect the wood. So that's that end. That clamps in the way, so I'm just gradually taking it off to make sure that it's not releasing. And then once I get this guy on there, that'll hold together anyhow. And I can see additional glue ooze, which means that it drew that end tight. So I could snug those or whatever, but this is going to be great. So there you go. That's a 40-incher MikroBeamer, making a micro beam that is right now 4.5 inches high and 2 1/4 inches across. And it's 46 inches. And then I'll do the same thing going the other direction to get it down to a perfect 4-inch. Then after all that's done, then we'll cut the two ends off. And what we're gonna have is an absolutely perfect beam, 2-inch, a true 2-inch by a true 4-inch by a true 44-inch with very square ends, very true clean edges and parallel, perpendicular, everything else. And this is all made out of scrap lumber that was basically going to be burned.